some of our scientific group to see what they have to say in terms of new paradigms about which they have a lot of thoughts.
But also, you see, I think if the amount of damaging about environment because of the technology or substance, the chemicals, these things, these won't also come from the scientists. So some of these, I mean, scientists are also helpful to getting deeper awareness about the environment problem, isn't it? So little difference for scientists.
Well, they're friendly scientists.
Yes.
We brought only friendly scientists. and this is Fred Allen Wolf, who will begin us.
Your Holiness, Western science has, I believe, taken us into the art of separation to such an extreme that we are ready to implode into unity.
Yes.
The rules of science, based on the idea that complex matter, life, and consciousness emerge from simple, non-conscious matter, possibly even dead matter, is at best incomplete.
Yes.
The emerging new paradigm is attempting to expand the rules of science. For example, we may be looking at how the simple emerges from the complex. We may be looking at models which explain how mind and matter emerge from a deeper, paradoxical, living and non-living ground of being. We are looking at other possibilities, particularly in the field of quantum physics, which indicate alternate or parallel universes existing side by side with ours and affecting ours. And we may be looking at time reversal, how the future influences the present. Life and mind may be organizing principles of matter, and consciousness may be the basis for the physical and biological sciences.
And this is Amit Goswami.
Your Holiness, the opposition to this view, the leading edge, basically comes from three directions. One is quite legitimate, namely, if we don't have objectivity, then how can we do science? But the other two are based on fear. One fear that is very substantial among scientists is the fear of what cannot be dealt with by rational means, mainly mathematics and rational arguments. This fear of irrational phenomenon, what they consider irrational, such as the paranormal, even spiritual faith is considered irrational. This fear of the irrational has become irrational fear in the minds of many scientists. The third, and perhaps the most important reason for the reaction, for the opposition, seems to be a fundamental conflict, a tension that exists within each one of us. This tension is the tension between ego and some greater unity self. A move towards separateness and versus a move towards unity that we all have individually, including all scientists. And the fourth one that can be given is that there is a reluctance in terms of acknowledging free will or consciousness as a causal entity, because if we do that, then we have to take responsibility for our actions. We have to change, we have to transform, even though we are scientists. And these scientists are not very prepared to do right now.
Cliff Matthews. There are three of us going to give... Sorry.
Cliff Matthews, whose field is origin of life.
There are three of us who are going to give brief statements about what kind of action we might be taking, Your Holiness. Now, in our evolving universe, which we see as participatory, transcendent, and open, we want to explore further the ultimate mystery of existence, not only through science, but equally through art and religion. And these creative activities, of course, art and science and religion, give rise to the metaphors, models, and myths by which we live. You might even say that they are all different ways of telling lies to get at the truth. They're lies that tell the truth. So I...
yes.
But beyond all that, I think above all that, we are just grateful for our being. We want to pursue further community by giving and receiving love. So very briefly then, I'll say what we need is more living, lying, and loving.
Yes.
And this is Elizabeth Sartoris, who's a biologist, evolutionary biologist.
Your Holiness, the practice and teaching of science has not included the wisdom of the heart. And so now we as scientists have to try to find the wisdom of the heart in order to be of service to humanity and not an authority to it. And each of us as scientists will have to learn how to find the wisdom of the heart within ourselves, to see the tensions in science, and to learn to hold those tensions within us until they dissolve, but at the same time to recognize that in nature, tension is the source of all creativity, and that biology, nature tells us diversity is absolutely essential, and that every part must be fully participating. Our own bodies show us that a few organs cannot exploit the rest and stay healthy. We must undo the barriers between these opposites so that we can learn how every cell can have self-interest and also the body. Self-interest is all right if it's contained in community. So if we can find that kind of wisdom in ourselves as individual people, as well as in the great mother teacher of nature, I think we will be able to be in service to the world much better than we have been.
Yes, absolutely.
I told you these were friendly scientists, so so the tension between what Elizabeth was calling the wisdom of the heart and also the learning of science, the teaching, it is a way of getting the information that we need. I wonder if you could comment on that emergence and what you see in terms of the changes in the scientific community, because I know you've been in dialogue with the scientific community for many years.
No particular thing to response. Of course, I had, I think, some experience also dealing with scientists. I don't know. Generally, it's my impression is a scientist, if someone who genuinely scientific minded, then you see that he or she is an attitude very neutral. Should be neutral. I mean very neutral and unbiased. and skeptical. I think that's very right, very good. And carry is a further investigation, experiment. Then through experiment, through investigation, the truth eventually become clear. Then you accept. That's a very right of approach. I think I personally, I'm Buddhist. It's a Buddhist way of approach. Also, is basically similar. At the beginning, some kind of skeptical, even Buddha's own word. Remain little skeptical. Then investigate and experiment. And then eventually, through one's own experience, some benefit comes, then accept. Then perhaps I think that to scientists, up to now, I think the coverage of science and science field may not be, I think, a whole phenomena. My feeling. Up to now, I think the field where it is, usually it is the Kasoda. Science I think megaphone. 자자가 럽다. 안데 천리기 딱제 천리 럽지잖아요. 패지 차야 여대보다 지금 measurement 자유도 그렇지. 근데 저는 그래서 지야요.
The present field of investigation of science, His Holiness feels, is more or less limited because they primarily engage in focus in a limited area which can be measured and which can be calculated.
So, I think it may be worthwhile have some kind of openness. Further, there are some different sort of phenomena which present up-to-date sort of method to investigate may not sort of sufficient or ability, may not have the ability to investigate in certain particular field. So this is, of course, I think mainly some say, I think, deeper consciousness or certain level of, say, I think the spiritual experiences. You see, through normal scientific way, we can't prove. But also, you see, we can see some result or some effectiveness of such experience. So there is something. Yet, I think beyond to explain through usual scientific way means. So perhaps I think to scientists, I think more openness with skeptical. That is very good. So sometimes I found some scientists about the relation between brain and mind. They believe every sort of thought or mind must come from some the part of the brain. Then I put the question: according to our experiences, our daily experiences, sometimes just the vague memory about something past, just a memory, and then that causing some emotions that affects our body. So this looks, thought come first, or memory come first, then effect on the brain. Looks like that. So I put this question. Then you see some physician, some scientist say, oh, looks like that, but should not. You see, because you see, every thought must be based on brain. So oneself makes some kind of the limitation. And anyway, you see, I think scientist or science is something like, I think, the refuge of child. Yep. What's it?
Like a source of reference.
So it is very important, very important.
Yes. And
Then I think here, I think one is a scientist, one great scientist. Chile truth, Argentine truth. One tutor, a teacher of the Francisco Varela. Yes, he's his teacher. I think one Chilean, or he lived in Brazil. Oh yes, yes. That's right. A few months ago, I was in Argentina, Brazil, some sort of seminar. He also there. So he mentioned, being as a scientist, when he or she carry, investigation, or as a person, they should not have attachment towards one's own field. And he mentioned, once attachment comes, then your mind becomes biased. I think this is absolutely true. Yes. Whether scientist or whether religious person, like myself as a Buddhist, if I develop some kind of attachment towards my own religion, then this automatically, closed your sort of, I think the objective sort of attitude towards other religion, other field, isn't it? If my Christian brother, there's too much attachment towards your own religion, Catholicism, then he can't see the value of Buddhism. So I think that when I heard that, I really,
His Holiness was really greatly amazed.
I amazed, when I heard, and also I got some kind of new lesson. Oh, it is really true. I'm Buddhist. I should not have attachment towards my own religion. So that's I think wonderful, isn't it?